Don't Depend on Daddy is an unfiltered safe space, empowering young professionals to build independence in their 20s and beyond, whether it be personal, professional, or financial. Regardless of your age, relationship status, or job title, the most consistent person in your life is you. So join me and let's build our independence together. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome back to Don't Depend on Daddy, the podcast. My name's Michela. I am your host. And today we are going through how you can achieve a 2025 glow up. And we're going to talk about career, we are going to talk about money, and we are going to talk about your personal appearance and productivity and all that. So before we get into it though, we're going to go through our usual housekeeping. First things first, Happy New Year. This is going up on January 1st. By the time you are watching this, I will have already moved into my new apartment in Chicago, so stay tuned for the update on that. And make sure you're following me on Instagram if you're interested in the live updates. Second, I want to let you know the Personal Finance Dashboard sale, my year-end New Year sale, is happening right now. So make sure you're following me on Instagram for all of the details. I'll make sure that the code is in the show notes because at the time I'm recording this, I don't exactly know what the code is going to be quite yet. But follow me on Instagram. It'll be on sale for this week only. So if you want to get the Personal Finance Dashboard on sale, don't miss it because it won't go on sale again until July. My Personal Finance Dashboard sale schedule, it goes on sale in July, it goes on sale for Black Friday, and it goes on sale for the New Year, and that's it. Otherwise, you can use the code podcast1 for $10 off the Personal Finance Dashboard if you are listening to this at a different point throughout the year. Next, I want to let you know I am posting more content here on YouTube. So if you are listening to the podcast, but you are not watching on YouTube, here's your reminder. You can watch the podcast here on YouTube, but I'm also going to be posting a video on Fridays, or doing my best to get a video up every Friday, sharing more about different financial topics, my business, a couple of vlogs thrown in here or there. So make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel because this is a big theme for me in 2025 and a big area of focus. And the last thing I want to let you know is I am currently in the process of hosting the 2025 Ultimate Financial Reset Masterclass. There are 3 sessions. We had our first session yesterday, again, at the time that you are watching this, or on Monday. And we have 2 more sessions left. One that will be tomorrow on January 2nd, and then one on January 6th next week. So if you are interested in getting a little bit of help with auditing your finances, putting together your plan, having the accountability, setting aside the hour-ish to just do it with me alongside a few other people, come join us. I'm excited, and I'll see you there. And the info to sign up for that is also in the show notes. If you can't make a live session, but you're still interested, you can get the recorded version as well. All of the sessions will be recorded and uploaded into Teachable. So whether you can come live or not, you can still access the class. So with that, let's get into the content today, which is a 2025 glow up. I feel like at the top of the year, it's always a great time to set intentions for the new year. If you haven't listened to my State of the Union episode from last week, you should go listen to that. It's a great top of the year podcast episode, I feel like. But I feel like at the beginning of a new year, we're all sort of thinking about glowing up. How are we going to improve our lives during these next 12 months? At least that's what I'm thinking. And a lot of what I see is vision boarding and stuff. And I think that's a really important exercise. But I am a tactical person. And so we're going to be going through some tactics, and we're going to cover personal finance glow up, career elevation in a professional glow up, a productivity transformation, so how to glow up your efficiency, and then an appearance glow up, so holistically how we present ourselves, things that you can do. And I'm excited because all of these things are things that I feel like I have been doing in bits and pieces, but for 2025, we're doing it. So with that, let's get right into it. And we're going to start with the personal finance glow up. And for each of these, I have 3 things that you can do. So number 1 is making sure you have a zero-based 3-bucket budget. So in 2025, we are ditching traditional budgeting and we are embracing zero-based budgeting. I've been saying this for years and I'm going to continue saying it for years to come. A zero-based budget gives every dollar that you earn a specific job, whether it's investing, saving, paying your bills, or creating experiences. And we're taking this to the next level with the right tool, which obviously I'm going to suggest the personal finance dashboard, and now is an amazing time to get it. But if you want to use something else, you can go to my resource library and review all of the budgeting apps and tools that get the BYB stamp of approval from me. So we are budgeting loud and proud this year, and don't let anyone make you feel badly about it. And we're following a zero-based 3-bucket budget. So that's taking every single dollar of income you earn and allocating it out to an essential expense. So your rent, your transportation costs, your groceries, utilities, insurance, all that kind of stuff. One of 3 financial goals, so savings goals, investing goals, or debt payoff goals, and then your lifestyle non-essential expenses in that order. So basically you take your income and you subtract your essential expenses, your financial goals, which you want to make sure are time bound and have an amount set to them so you can calculate what your monthly contribution to those goals is going to be. And then whatever is left over after you subtract your essentials and your goals from your income, that's what you have for lifestyle expenses. And the reason why I recommend the personal finance dashboard is because within the annual spending plan, you can like plug and play your budget and it calculates out to zero. So you can actually see how you're stacking in different scenarios. I would say that I spend in the PFD, 90% of the time I spend in the PFD is spent in the annual spending plan tab, because I like to see like where I'm stacking up on a monthly basis, but also how things are getting back down to zero. So food for thought, but zero-based budgeting is a big focus and something that I definitely recommend you prioritize this year if you really want to get clear on not only like your spending, but actually reaching your goals, because it prioritizes your financial goals. Number 2 here for the personal finance glow up is like financial health as financial wellness, because I think that approaching your finances in the same way that you would approach your personal wellness is a really realistic way and like softer way, I think, to approach your money. And I'll almost add a spin to this, like a more feminine approach to your finances, because I think budgeting and numbers in spreadsheets can feel very masculine, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to take a little bit of a softer approach, we want to think about showing up for your finances the same way that you would show up for yourself, like when you go to the gym. So we're treating our finances like our physical health in 2025. And this means implementing regular financial check-ins and accountability sessions, like a weekly money date and a monthly money retrospective. Not new topics here at Break Your Budget, but they might be new practices for you in 2025. So we are tracking our expenses. We're keeping a pulse on what's going on. We're making sure that our daily habits are aligned with the financial future that we want. So this could mean sticking to a spending diet. Maybe you reduce certain spending areas for a certain period of time, and when you reach a goal, you treat yourself to something small within reason, right? There are a lot of parallels between money and physical health, and they both have a huge impact on our holistic well-being. So tactical things here. You're setting a weekly money date. So that could be on like a Monday or a Sunday. You're sitting down and you're tracking your expenses. You're seeing how you stack up with your budget. You're making adjustments. Maybe you're thinking about this spending diet concept. I do my money date on Monday nights within my inner circle. If you're interested in joining the inner circle, I'll make sure to put the sign up link in the show notes. It's $10 a month. And on Mondays, we have a small group who meets and we do our money date together. It's for accountability. If you're interested and you are going to actually join the calls, sign up. I only want people signing up who are actually going to participate. So if you're not committed to doing it, save yourself the $10 a month. And if you are committed to doing it, and I'll see you on a pretty regular basis weekly, I would love to have you in there. And I only say that because I had a lot of people sign up and then they don't come to the calls. And I just like find that to be so annoying. So if you're going to come to the calls, I welcome you to sign up. But if you're not going to come to the calls, just don't sign up. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Anyways, financial health as holistic wellness is sort of like a big theme that I want you to think about when you're glowing up your finances. Because again, when we're thinking about how we can make financial well-being a little bit softer, more tangible, easier to implement. It really does boil down to like these daily, weekly habits. So some people, I know that some people track their expenses daily. I personally don't. It's not something I feel is necessary for me. But in the same way that you go to the gym every single day, like there should be something that you're doing for your finances on a daily basis and on like a weekly, monthly basis. So the weekly money date is great. A monthly money retrospective, that's also something we do in our inner circles, but it's basically 30 to 45 minutes where you are auditing your financials for the month, resetting your goals for a new month, resetting your budget. And then on a daily basis, it could be 10 minutes of consuming personal finance content, 10 minutes of reading a money blog or a money article, 10 minutes of tracking your expenses. Like spending 10 minutes on something financial on a daily basis is a great way to continue learning about personal finance and thinking about personal finance application in your day-to-day life. The last thing here to think about for a personal finance glow up would be a spending overhaul. So, mastering your financial journey, I think the big focus from a lot of personal finance educators is all about saving. And I understand that, but we need to learn how to spend, because if you don't know how to spend, saving is going to be a lot harder, and spending and saving go hand in hand. So the key to do this is to conduct a spending audit. And it needs to go beyond just looking at your totals of your spending and really dig deep into the emotional and psychological landscape of all of your financial choices on a day-to-day basis that ultimately shape how you spend your money monthly and annually. So the first thing you're going to do here is you are going to track your expenses every single day for the month of January. And I'm not talking about just listing out your individual transactions. I really want you to categorize them through essential and non-essential, but also for each one, make a note of the value that it's adding into your life. So a critical question to think about is like, does this expense genuinely contribute to my long-term happiness? Is this expense an essential expense that I need to have in order to live? Does it align with who I want to become, who I want to be? Would I make this purchase again knowing the opportunity cost? Would I be proud if somebody else saw this purchase? These are really essential questions to ask when you are buying something, because a lot of times we just buy something and we move on and we kind of forget about it. And then all of a sudden we've not only accumulated all this stuff, but spent all this money and have kind of nothing to show for it. So when you're really thinking about how do I want to first repair my relationship with my finances and how I spend, you have to draw awareness to where your money is going through tracking your expenses, but also how it makes you feel and the impact that it has on your life. There's always going to be expenses you have to make. So like your essential expenses, those ones, like, not all of them are going to have value necessarily or make you feel really great. Like, I hate paying my rent. It doesn't make me feel good, but I have to pay it, right? But for your non-essentials, that's really where I want you to focus. So a spending overhaul is another key thing. And after those 30 days, you can go back and start to see some patterns in the way you've spent your money and the way you have started to feel about different things. And going forward for your budget in February, you can make some realigned adjustments and really start honing how you're spending your money, what you're spending your money on, to make sure that the money you do spend is on things that add value to your life. A way to take this a step further is to really think about like value categories and areas of your budget that you want to focus your money on consistently. So my value categories tend to change annually, I would say. Like, not exactly on the dot, but as I change and as my priorities change, the things that I care about more change. So in the past, I used to value like going out to restaurants and eating out and spending that time with friends, where I don't necessarily feel that way anymore. Like, I would rather eat at home and have my friends over than go spend $100 on a dinner out that's like kind of not that good. That's how I felt in LA. The food in Chicago is great. So that spending value may change as my social life changes a little bit and just like my life overarchingly changes going into 2025. This past year, I really prioritized and valued buying nice things because I wanted to elevate my home. I wanted to elevate my wardrobe, how I felt about myself, my appearance. Going into 2025, that value is changing a little bit because I don't want to spend as much on shopping and I also already have everything that I need. So we're going to start to see some realignment in my own spending. And so I would challenge you to really think about what are the value categories for you and really think about expenses that spark joy, that make you feel good, that make you excited, expenses that are necessary but neutral, like for example, paying rent, and then mindless and reactive spending that doesn't really have any meaningful return. The big thing here that I want to emphasize, again, because a lot of financial educators focus on saving rather than spending, is that understanding your spending and going through a spending overhaul isn't to eliminate all of your discretionary spending. The goal is to optimize it. So if, for example, going to a cooking class that costs $200 teaches you skills that you can use at home, makes you really happy, is a really fun experience, that is fundamentally different than spending $200 at Brandy Melville because you walked past the store, right? So think about how you're spending your money and how it is impacting your life. And if it's a reactionary expense or something that you're like really being thoughtful and intentional about, because the goal is ultimately by the end of this year to have a very clear vision for how you're using your money, how you're spending your money, and how you're saving your money. And that happens through all these three things that we just talked about. Zero-based budgeting, so having a concrete plan for how you're spending your money. It's basically a roadmap from January to December, point A to point B. We're getting from this month to this month. This is how much I'm spending on these certain things in order to reach these set financial goals by contributing this amount each month and optimizing my income accordingly. That is going to help you reach this overarching vision of really knowing how to use your money. Financial health as holistic wellness, really having these routines and accountability and ownership of your finances through regular check-ins, regular habits, and strong financial, like day-to-day habits and well-being. And then the spending overhaul. So understanding what's adding value to your life and what isn't. These three things are going to help you glow up financially, I think, in a much softer, less abrasive and overwhelming way. Okay, next we're moving into career elevation and your professional glow up in 2025. So I have three things here. First being a personal branding overhaul. 2025 is the year of the side quest. It does not have to be a side hustle. So it doesn't have to be something that you're necessarily earning money from or monetizing, but it is a ripe time to explore side passions and interests that could become a side hustle or a full-time hustle in the future. Let 2025 be the year that you start to explore alternate ways to earn money or explore your passions that could then lead to some sort of idea that could be a different way to make money. So we're taking low to no pressure here, but really thinking about how we can expand and, potentially ideate on some type of personal brand. Any sort of side quest starts with a personal brand. And yes, I think you should create a personal brand in 2025 because it's a tool that will help your career. I know there's like some back and forth discourse about this online about like not everybody needs a personal brand and personal branding is oversaturated. I disagree. I think you should have a personal brand because a personal brand in your online presence really is the way that we are culturally moving. And it's essentially like a digital resume, right? It's how you can stand out in a very crowded marketplace. And a lot of people who have personal brands are being prioritized in the job market over people who don't because they stand up. You have to be seen, right? Like if you are seen, you have a much better chance of getting opportunities. One of my friends, Courtney Johnson, she talks about this a lot because she's really into LinkedIn and she has like this LinkedIn cohort. I've taken it. It's a really great class if you are interested in, using LinkedIn to level up your professional life, which makes a lot of sense, right? But you don't have to use LinkedIn if you don't want to. Choose any platform and start sharing. So it could be a traditional platform like a LinkedIn or an Instagram or a TikTok if it doesn't get banned. But it could also be like a personal blog or a Substack or just a way for you to explore and document your interests, passions, and creativity. Because creating leads to ideas, which leads to actions, and ultimately taking action is what's going to change your life. So opportunities, go to people that are known. And to become known, you have to post. So if like a LinkedIn or Instagram is intimidating to you, I think Substack is a really great platform because you can sort of do like long form blogs. You can add images, you can use Canva to create some types of images and stuff. Like it's a great creative outlet that you can link out to if you want to share it, but you can also keep it like kind of personal and private. Think of it almost like a digital journal. So I think Substack is a really great platform to consider. I don't know if it costs any money, but if it does, it can't be a lot. But personal branding should be a focus of yours in 2025 in any way, shape, or form that you feel comfortable with, but getting your presence out there is important. Next is skill stacking, which I love, sounds very efficient. But really the purpose of skill stacking is to take just learning skills overall and stacking them strategically to elevate your career and push your career forward. So skill stacking is an art, and think of it as developing unique skills and a unique application of those skills rather than just developing like a hard skill. So for example, instead of learning copywriting, it would be learning copywriting for technical email newsletters. So why is this better? Because not only are you copywriting, so you're learning the hard skill, but you're learning the art of a newsletter, and you would need to be researching technical trends in order to write about it, right? So that's just one example. But it's taking a generalized skill that anybody can have and making it a little bit more niched and applied to a specific industry that you also have to learn about in order to execute on that skill. Skill stacking helps you learn more. So think about skills you want to develop and then think about an industry you would want to apply them to. I think this could be a really interesting thing to do and sort of add it into this whole idea of personal branding. And then the last thing here is networking 2.0. So taking your traditional networking that hopefully you're already doing, because networking is something that you should be doing all year long, not just when you need something or when you need a new job, but taking your traditional networking to the next level and starting to join online communities, because we really are in this digital era. And I think it's important, obviously, to make sure you're forging relationships in your real life, but we all are spending a lot of time online. And curating your own online community and having connections with other people in that community can really help you. This is something that I've learned over the last year as someone who is, obviously I'm a creator in this digital space. And I always used to operate kind of in my own silo. Like I didn't really have a ton of creator friends because I didn't really feel like I fit into this like creator world. And it wasn't until this year that I started connecting with other creators who I felt similar to and aligned with. So Courtney Johnson is an example. Hannah Goff is an example. Hannah Gets Hired. And we've sort of curated this online community of women in their late 20s. My friend Ruffin is another example. There's lots of other women my age or a little bit older in the personal finance, online branding, career space online. And we've started to sort of forge a little community here of us. And it's really made a big difference in terms of brainstorming, in terms of opportunities, in terms of understanding what other people are working on and learning from each other. And it's made such a big difference in how I feel, feeling like I have people that I can go to and talk to. So traditional networking will always be in, but sort of taking it to the next level and bringing it online. So joining online communities, commenting on social media, and really expanding your reach. Networking doesn't have to be a professional coffee chat all the time. It can be a LinkedIn comment on someone who you've been following, or even just a quick LinkedIn message that's not to a hiring manager, but just like someone on LinkedIn who posted something that was meaningful or insightful to you. It could be joining a Facebook group and participating, posting in there, commenting, answering questions, responding, building those connections. Joining an online community, so taking like an online cohort, like I mentioned, Courtney Johnson's cohort is a great example. Joining my inner circle and actually participating in it. Taking a live course is another one because you're interacting with other people. Like I just took a live course with Teachable. They did like this mastermind, and you have the opportunity to connect with other people who are building businesses, learn from other people, hear different insight strategies. It's so helpful. And maybe you don't connect with everyone, but one or two people in there, you might. So, take advantage of these things that exist. There are so many digital ways to meet people outside of your general network. And they can all be done beyond your specific professional industry. So maybe you work in tech, but you're really interested in fashion. It could be potentially creating a fashion Substack, right? And then connecting with fashion creators and talking to them, commenting on their posts, forging those communities or forging those connections and building community. And then ultimately, who knows what that can do for your personal brand? Like there's so many people that are not only like-minded to you, but have similar interests, doing similar things, or interested in doing similar things. And when you are curating your network, you can find those people and then you find more and more of them. It's a very satisfying exercise and experience to have. So another tip too, this is actually how I connected with Hannah, is she has a networking rule where when she finds someone online who she, is either inspired by or whose content she enjoys, she sends them a message to see if they'll get on like a quick call with her. And that's how we initially connected. She sent me a DM. I had seen some of her stuff, but like we had never really crossed paths. And we got on a call and now we meet regularly and we talk about business and stuff. And like it's been really great. So you can always implement a rule like that where you reach out to people. And the thing is, though, is people are more likely to respond back to you when you also have an online presence. Like if someone who I've never met before sends me a DM and asks me to get on the phone, if they have like a private account or they're not messaging me from an account that has its own personal brand, like I'm not getting on the phone with you, sorry. But if it's someone who is creating content or posting something or sharing something meaningful and insightful, like my interest in doing that is much higher because I can kind of catch the gist of what is going on with this person. So really thinking about personal branding and using a personal brand to expand your network and thus expand your opportunities. Very, very, very underrated. And I think it gets lost in this influencer culture that we have. Your personal brand doesn't mean you have to be like an influencer or even a content creator. It just means you're sharing things that you are interested in an online arena of your choosing. So I think making a goal to connect with one new person a week or engage with an online community one time a week, whether it be a comment or a message or something, is a really great goal to have. So those are the things you can do to start elevating your career this year and having a little bit of a professional glow up. Thinking about personal branding and exploring the side quest. Skill stacking, so pick a skill or two that you want to learn and how you can apply that skill to an area of your interest. And then networking and curating more of an online digital community in addition to your real life in-person networking that hopefully you're already doing. Now we're going to move into your efficiency glow up and a productivity transformation. So I have 3 things here. First being to create personalized productivity system. So in a social media world where we see people's routines all the times, it can be really hard to like curate your own routines, if that makes sense, because you feel like it's easier to just copy what other people are doing. But you don't need to create routines just because you see other people creating routines online. I recommend that you lean into your natural productivity hours and allow your routines to change seasonally, which is something that I talked about in my State of the Union last week. My productivity changes from winter to spring to summer to fall because in the winter, I don't like to get up early. I don't like to be outside. Obviously, it's cold in the summer. I get up at 5:30 because it's light out and I want to seize the day, right? So seasonal changes in your routine are normal. We should embrace them. But another thing I recommend you do is start leveraging some AI tools that exist. This is a new thing that I've been doing the last few months to really help analyze like not only your personal work patterns, but your energy cycles, your learning style, and help curate and create a productivity system that works for you. I've been using Claude recently, which is like a more personal chatty version of ChatGPT to help build out like a content system and put me on a better weekly schedule. So I shared like these are all of the things that I need to do every week to keep my business alive. And how can I optimize this for time and similar tasks to structure out my Monday through Friday? And Claude helped me put together like a system to actually execute on these things. And so now I'm following that, and it's been very, very helpful. So think about your work routines, your morning routines, or evening routines, and use these tools for inspo. I think it's really interesting. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of AI for life mapping on TikTok. Maybe that's just my FYP, but I never thought to use AI for that. And I've been really trying to leverage Claude specifically and also ChatGPT over the last year just to make my life easier and help with ideation and stuff. So definitely something to consider if you're really looking to overhaul your productivity systems. I also recommend that you read The 12-Week Year, which is a book that I just read by, I forget who it's by, but it's basically structuring your year on a 12-week schedule instead of an annual schedule, because annual planning is very overwhelming and cumbersome. And 12 weeks is like a much more optimal time to get more done and sort of reset. Instead of having one new year every year, you have technically like 4. So I'm going to be implementing that in 2025. And another book that I got, but I haven't read yet, is Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdul. He has a great YouTube channel, so I also recommend that you check out his YouTube videos. Next is implementing a shutdown routine. I've discussed shutdown routines before, and essentially it is an intentional work routine where after work, you're closing out your workday and disconnecting so that you can enhance your life outside of work. This is especially helpful if you work from home. So I work from home full time, and finding that disconnect between my work life and my personal life is hard, especially because I'm on social media. So at the end of the workday, I have a specific routine I follow to sort of like signal the day's over. So I'll go through my to-do list for the day and I'll check off all the things I did. I'll carry over things I need to do tomorrow and put together my plan. So the next day, I'm not waking up with like no idea what's going on. I have sort of a plan and I can adjust it as I need to. And then I close off and disconnect from work. And then after work, I have, a variety of things that I do depending on the day. I could either be going to a workout class or just going to work out or walk in general, cooking, seeing a friend, going out to dinner, just doing something to disconnect my brain from the day. And then at night, when I'm going to bed, I like to read. And these are all things that help enhance my evenings and just shut my brain off so that I'm giving myself time to rest and recharge, because when you're constantly fired up and thinking about work, that's how you get burnout. And that's why people struggle so much, I think, with, the continuous cycle of work, is you're not taking time to shut off on a regular basis, and you can't go at 100% forever. Like that's just not normal. So shutdown routines are essential. This is from a book called Deep Work, which I recommend you also read in 2025. And number 3 here for this efficiency productivity glow up is setting boundaries and having an intentional digital detox. And this is something that I need to work on too in 2025 specifically. Like this is a big focus of mine. I am addicted to my phone. And I think during times of uncertainty, so for example, the last couple of months as I've been moving and sort of like disliking my life a little bit, and I'm in between apartments, I go to my phone for comfort, and I find that my screen time has been way higher than usual because I've sort of been like perpetually anxious, if that makes sense. So going forward into this new year, I'm setting boundaries and taking time to disconnect from my phone, not just during the day. Like I have to keep my phone in a different room during the day or away out of sight, or otherwise like I'm constantly grabbing for it, but especially at night and on the weekends. So a big thing that I've done in the past that like really hasn't worked all that well is I have 2 phones. So I have a work phone and then I have my personal phone. But my personal phone, the camera on there is not that great. So I do use my work phone to capture content. My work phone doesn't have Wi-Fi or it doesn't have a phone number or like cellular data attached to it. It's just connected to the Wi-Fi. So if I have to take both phones out with me, which can be kind of annoying. The benefit of this is I don't have break your budget on my personal phone. I only have it on my work phone. So I can't really work unless I'm connected to Wi-Fi. And I can also capture content on that phone without being connected to the internet. So I think it's just thinking about how I can better create the boundaries when I'm home, because that really seems to be the biggest issue. And being better about not being on my phone after a certain time of night. I don't know. If you have tips for this, let me know. But beyond setting just like basic boundaries, having technology breaks and breaks from being online for like more than a few hours is important. So I'm thinking about doing in 2025 like one social media free day, with the exception of posting, because I post on socials every day. I saw I think her name is Tess Barkley. She has a podcast on YouTube, and she uses Saturdays as her like digital detox day. And I think that's a great idea. I don't know if I'll silo myself to just Saturdays. Like I might have it be week dependent, like Saturday if it makes sense or Sunday if it makes sense. But implementing a technology free day could be very valuable for me. But yeah, creating space to disconnect from tech, I think, is really the big point that I'm making here, because being on your phone all the time can really crush not only your productivity and your ability to focus, but also your ability to be creative, which at least in my line of work is absolutely essential. So those are the three things you can do to help increase your productivity and just be more efficient. One is really focusing on your systems. 2 is having a shutdown routine. And 3 is intentional digital detoxes and boundaries. Moving on to this last section, we're going to be talking about an appearance glow up. And before we get into it, I just want to say appearance and like focusing on your appearance doesn't mean that you're vain or that you're too focused on vanity. But when you really like the way that you look and you like the way that you present, you show up better in your life. So that's really what I want to focus on when I say an appearance glow up. So the first thing here is elevating your wardrobe, and a big focus for me in 2025 is material composition. And so going forward with any new clothes that you bring into your space, I challenge you to focus on material composition and high quality items made of natural materials. So this doesn't mean that you have to get rid of clothes that you already have, but as you find new things or bring in new items, you want to make material composition a priority, because clothes that are made of high quality natural materials like cotton, wool, cashmere, silk are nicer, they look better, they wear longer, and they will elevate how you dress. So as part of this, start exploring your personal style and really pay attention to the clothes that you reach for on a regular basis. What are your highest touch items? And these are the clothes that you want to invest in to help elevate your wardrobe and create a really nice capsule collection of high quality pieces. This takes time. It's not something that you do in a span of 3 months. Like it can take years to build a quality wardrobe, because sometimes these pieces are a little bit more expensive, sometimes they're not. But when you focus on material composition, your clothes will just look a lot nicer. And it is something, especially I feel like as you get older, that you notice. At least I notice it. And I feel better when I wear natural material clothing. I think it just feels better on the body. I will do a whole podcast about this. Next is taking the extra 10 minutes. This is a change that I've made in the back half of 2024. And I started taking the extra 10 minutes to care for my appearance. So what does this mean? In the morning, I take the 10 minutes to get dressed. I put on a little touch of makeup. I don't wear a ton of makeup, but like a little cover up, a little blush makes a big difference. After I shower, I take 10 minutes to put lotion all over my body. I do my red light face mask. Not only does this help with ensuring that I'm using my products that I've already purchased, I'm using up my lotion and my body care and whatnot, but it makes me feel so much better about myself. Taking that extra 10 minutes to care for the little things that can up-level your appearance can help a lot with self-esteem too. So a few other examples would be like whitening your teeth or using like a whitening mouthwash, doing the hair mask once a week before you get into the shower, using a pumice stone on your feet in the winter. It's all little stuff that you've probably heard of that you know is good for you, and it can be kind of annoying, but it makes a big difference. It's spending that extra 10 minutes, and like that extra 10 minutes every day, it adds up. It has that compound effect that it really does make you feel better in your body, feel better in the way you look, feel better in the way you present. And over a long period of time, you will totally uplevel your appearance by making very small changes and actually like sticking to them. So this is a habit I'm going to keep up, and I recommend you give it a try in 2025. And number 3 is making more of an effort to get dressed every single day. So since I work from home, I find that I wear sweatpants a lot. Like, this obviously isn't something that I'm the best at because I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now, but I wear sweatpants and workout clothes all the time. And I found in LA, I really didn't leave the house a lot. So I never got dressed except for on the weekends. And I want to stop doing this because in Chicago, I think I'll have this problem a little less just because I have easier access to stuff. So like going about my life is going to be easier and going out and about is going to be easier. And my apartment building has a co-working space. So like if I'm leaving my apartment, I just want to feel more put together. So I'm going to be making an effort in 2025 to really focus on how I present myself with my clothes and wear my clothes and get dressed. Not every day because I don't think that's realistic, but like as frequently as I can, multiple times a week. So I'll still wear sweatpants, obviously, but not every single day like I'm currently doing. So these few things to elevate your appearance, I think, are all pretty simple and straightforward. They don't require spending really any money. Obviously, elevating your wardrobe does require spending a little bit of money, but not in the immediate term. Like, really curate a list of things that you need, gaps in your wardrobe you need to fill, or if you have a clothing item that you need to repurchase, like instead of repurchasing the lower quality one, like just buying the nice one, taking that extra 10 minutes is just adding a little bit of self-care into your day. It makes a big difference. And then getting dressed daily, like wear the clothes you have. You don't have to buy all new clothes to get dressed every day. Like restyle, use Pinterest, learn what you like to wear. This is something I'm still working on in trying to find my personal style. Anyways, those 4 key areas are the areas that you can focus on glowing up in 2025. Your personal finance glow up, your career and professional glow up, your efficiency glow up, and your appearance glow up. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, let me know. Happy New Year, and I will catch you in the next one.